Hello, everyone. Bonsoir, tout le monde. Welcome to another episode of Poetry and Perspective with Placid. I'm going to take out my glasses. Let me tell you, I cannot see with it or without it. But anyway, guys, it is a brand new month, and your kind hostess is saying to you, Happy June. Okay, I hope you guys had an amazing May, and I do hope that this month is gonna prove to be even more beautiful for you guys because guess what? It is a month of June, and I know a lot of activities are happening. People are gonna be barbecuing, but Project Perspective with Placid is gonna be here along the way. Okay, so like I said, your kind hostess Cindy Placid. I am from the beautiful Caribbean island of Saint Lucia. I am an author, poet, advocate. I advocate for mental health. I advocate for mental illness and mental health. I advocate for autism. I advocate for dwarfism, thanatophoric dysplasia, and I also am taking on cancer and so many other causes. So, guys, listen, I'm busy, but I also realize that there are so many other issues that affect us every single day, and I want to bring it to the forefront. I want my viewers to be educated and to know that there's somebody out there who is trying their best to find information and to give them the best possible information to help themselves, to empower them, to motivate them. So this is what Poetry and Perspective is all about. Now, on this show, we don't discuss politics. We don't discuss religion. Okay? Yes, you can. There's no problem in talking about what your God did for you, or quoting a verse or scripture, or even saying what religion you're from. But we do not discuss the in-depth of politics and religion. Why? Because there is a time and place for everything, and Poetry and Perspective on Placid is not that place. Okay, so I love all my viewers. Thank you so much for always joining and tuning in to see what I have to say, what my crazy self always crazy. Listen, guys, Cindy Placid is always going to be herself no matter what. I will giggle, I will laugh. At the end of the day, I will be who I am because coming from the place where I was, like I said, I advocate for mental illness, and coming from a place where I was suicidal, where I tried to take my life a couple of times, and I'm here right now. I will be free and I will be the best version of me possible with respect and having fun. Okay? So now, guys, so this month is so many awarenesses going on, but tonight we're going to be focusing on men's health. June is Men Health Month. I think I'm saying that right. Yes. So so we want to be talking to the men mostly this month, and to hear, especially on Fridays, and to hear their perspective on health, how they handle health situations, and what are some of the things that we can do to enhance our health, to live healthier, and to be the best version of ourselves for ourselves and for our families. Okay. So without further ado, I have two handsome gentlemen on the show tonight, and I'm going to bring them in. Please welcome my first guest, Dennis. Dennis has been here before. How you doing, Dennis? And he is in Georgia. How are you doing, Dennis?
I'm doing rather fine with the pleasant weather we have here in Georgia. I mean, it's so beautiful out there. You just want to go outside and sit in the backyard. It's nice.
Wow. So let's hear what Michael has to say. This is my other guest. Michael is all the way from Chicago. So Dennis talked about the weather. What is the weather doing to you down there?
Well, today was nice. It's been off and on, but today was about 94. So it was pretty heated in Chicago today.
Oh, wow. So it's a happy day everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
Wonderful. So Dennis, I know we've had you here before. We're gonna start with Michael first. We're gonna hear who Michael is, where he's from. Let him tell the guests a little bit about himself, what he does, and we're gonna get into an in-depth discussion. We're gonna also introduce you again and say what you do, and then we are going to get into the deep discussion and so forth. So let's go, Michael. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Michael. I'm 53. I grew up in Tennessee. I moved back up here to go to school. I'm gonna try to stop saying because that's distracting.
Let me tell you something. You're not
Okay.
alone. I say it too.
Okay. So I'm not alone. Okay, good. Good. Oh, here I go. I work as a mental health counselor at a hospital. So I work on the
Okay.
psych floor.
Okay.
So it was interesting that I was asked to be on this panel to this evening because I've seen it, a lot of versions of mental illness, a lot of
Wow.
versions of it, you know, and the floor I'm on, we have 18 all the way up to we had the oldest one I've ever had up there was 80. I think it was 80. Yeah,
Wow.
80 years old. You know,
Wow.
so it's very interesting. You know, each day is a little different than the one before. Dealing with the clientele that we have. We deal a lot of homeless people, and we deal with a lot of people that's coming from apartments or houses that their family members asked them to be placed there because they didn't really know what to do. And we have some people just they'll just walk in because they want to admit themselves to the facility. So we get all walks. So white, black, Asian, Hispanic, all of them.
Wow. So you're a mental health counselor, okay? It's
Yes.
amazing that you said you're a mental health counselor because Dennis,
Hmm.
tell him what you do, and as outside of yours, tell us what you do and what has been your experience with mental health.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you again, Cindy, for having me on. I think we had a show about a week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and it was wonderful. We had a ton of people. It went overtime, probably
Yes.
double overtime.
Yes.
Yes, my name is Dennis Charles. As you can tell, I have a little accent. I'm from the Caribbean island of Grenada. I came to this country to get a piece of the American pie. I decided I'm a big guy. I don't want a small piece of the pie. I want a big piece of the pie. So to do that, I had to have goals in front of me. I have to set, whatever it is, my eyes on the prize. I have to stay focused. So early on, I had that vision to be somebody, to become the best that I can be, but you don't get there by accident. You have to be proactive about where you want to be, where you want to go. So pretty much, I'm driven. I'm a go-getter. I would say, like my friend, I believe I can, and therefore I will. I don't entertain negative thoughts, and I don't seek the advice of people who don't know better. In other words, if you want to give me an advice, I'm going to look at you. And if you can do better yourself, don't try to, don't try to encourage me. Because when I look at your life, with
Yeah.
yours, and those are the things that impact people and hold them back, is the unsolicited opinion of others that not doing even better.
Sure.
Why go to them? So this
Actually,
pretty much is me. I believe I can, and I believe I always will. If I push, if I keep fighting every day for my dreams, my goals, and all of that, whatever I want to accomplish, it is there for the taking. My background, as you know, definitely real estate from an early age in Brooklyn, start buying houses and, investing, getting into the market, learning about finance and investment and whatever. I'm a business owner also, in addition to doing financial work, you know. And I do a lot of stuff. Now I'm into health, right? The
so
the gut biome, right?
okay. So before we get into that, we gotta get into before we get into that,
Yeah.
because Mr. Michael is a mental health counselor. The last show we had on, you mentioned that went through a period of mental health. You have mental health challenges, and I don't know if you still have it right now. I don't know how that is, but Please tell the audience, along with Michael, what brought about your mental health issues.
All right. You want Michael go first or you want me go first?
Yes, Michael. I asked. Michael, you are a mental health professional. Okay, you
Well,
work in mental
counselor, not I don't. I'm
counselor.
not licensed, or
You're not
anything.
licensed, but you're a counselor. Okay, that's good
Yes.
enough for me. Okay.
Okay.
So Dennis, the last time Dennis said that he had some mental health issues, and before he tells us, I'm going to ask you this question: what
Okay.
you said, you see a lot of people with mental health challenges, and you see it's different ages. What are some of the things that bring about those mental health challenges, and with the people that you see, especially the
Mhm.
older people?
With the older people, I mean, we had some who had majority of the older ones they were committed by their family members. So
Mm-hmm,
there was something going on with them that they couldn't understand because you have a lot of aggressive,
mm-hmm,
what we did on our floor, we have a lot of aggressive behavior,
mm-hmm,
so we have some that's depression, but we
mm-hmm.
have a lot of aggressive behavior. So the older people, for some odd reason, they come in and they're listed as aggressive.
Wow.
So yeah, but I find when I look into the background of it, I find a lot of them have been aggressive pretty much their entire life. It's not as though this situation happened and it made them aggressive. No, they were pretty much that way already.
Wow. So what are some of the things that you've heard of, not being put in any compromising situation? What are some of the things that you've heard of that has brought about that aggression?
A lot of childhood trauma, depending on how they came, how they were raised, where they grew up at, what kind of parents they had. A lot of them come from where they were wards of the state. It's just different, different issues or problems that a lot
Mhm.
of them have. So a lot of them come up. It's a lot of it is childhood trauma, and some of
Wow.
they're still dealing with whatever's going on in their childhood that was never rectified.
Mhm.
They still fighting those demons today.
Yes, and I totally understand because I had a lot of childhood trauma, and
Mhm.
even into my older age, I had well, I'm not old yet. I'll say yeah,
That's right. All right. That's right.
even into my up to this day, I've had a lot of trauma, and before I really understood what I was going through, because I really understood that it was the trauma that was causing some of my actions, right?
Right.
I did not know I was dealing with it in different ways until I was able to get some psychological help.
Right.
And I understood that all of these things that were not dealt with before
Hmm.
was now, my life then was a result of what was not dealt with before.
Mm.
And so I've spent a lot of years in depression,
Yeah.
a lot of years
Mm.
of uncertainty, a lot of years of you know having flashbacks with PTSD,
Mm.
with anxiety, until
Right.
I was able to understand that this is what was happening to me. I was dealing with mental illness. And coming from the Caribbean, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dennis, coming from the Caribbean, mental illness is basically a taboo. It's
Yes.
basically taboo because people don't want to admit that they have mental illness.
That is the case, and as I said, with respect to the comment my co-host is making, we have to look at the triggers
Mhm.
for mental health, right? And there could be many, but the best way to spot them would be at an early age. Okay, at an early age, because it means the treatment would be easier, right? It's harder to train a tree or a branch when it is old and hard. You could be more flexible younger. And if you spot issues, development issues, or attitude, or behavioral, whatever it is, patterns that point in a certain direction, you don't wait until a felony is committed or whatever it is
Mhm.
before you get that child, boy or girl, the required attention or help or treatment
Mhm.
before they get into law enforcement. become part of the criminal, So you don't want to do that. So I want to say something that there could be many reasons for them: lack of love, hurt and pain, financial hardships and difficulty. You're looking for opportunities. Maybe you have a dream. You want to be a pilot. You want to go to school, become a doctor, whatever it is. And it's like your life just slip away from you because of something. It could be a broken marriage. Dad walk out and left mom home by, herself to raise, your siblings and pay the bills and all of that. There goes your college dream and whatever you wanted to aspire to be. So people take on things for many different reasons, and sometimes you don't know as a parent. They're in the room, they start to withdraw music that you never hear them play before. They into something and all of that. The communication disappear. You hardly see them. You don't know who their friends are. You don't know who they're talking to. All of that, right? What is it they're watching? They're in the room lock, the door lock. What is it they're looking at? You don't know their role models. All those things point to, and that is why I said, the sooner you could get help, right? Once you recognize something is getting off track, the better.
Yes, that is
Very
so true.
Very
So let me say hello to our viewers. Let me see. We have both places. I'm looking at both places right now. Hey, so we have let me see who we have here. We have Shauna Thomas. Hi, Shauna. She said Shanita Mitchell. We have Richie Vordruk. We have Aloysius Jelson. Good night. And we also have Rosemont Clary. So we have a few people coming on. All right. So Dennis,
Yes.
that question is for you. I know we've heard a little bit of your story the last time you and it was really enlightening to hear your story. But how the problems, the things that brought on your mental illness, right? Are they still affecting you right now? For
I,
those
I would
for
I would
those
say
hold on.
yes.
For those who did not know what brought on your mental illness, please just briefly tell us what brought on your mental illness, and I don't remember what question I asked you again. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Okay. And have you dealt with, are they still, are you still dealing with it, or are they better now? I forgot what I asked.
Well, I would say I am much better. I had to change my environment. And if I should quickly say, for those who did not, we had a lot of people the last time. And if some of the new folks were not there, to see trauma, to see hurt and pain. I used to be a stockbroker. And, well, everybody know 911, right? Or must have heard of the planes, right, going into the buildings. A lot of people died. Thousands of folks died, and a lot of them were brokers like myself too, and maybe the receptionist or whatever name you want to call them. You're not supposed to say receptionist nowadays, but folks working just to put food on the table. And there you go, 2 planes came from nowhere and just ended the lives of quite a lot of people. Some never recovered from that. And then we had asbestos in the air, spreading cancer like crazy. A lot of the people responded and all of that. So that used to be my playground, right next to, or right on Wall Street there. So that was hard. I got out of New York. I was scared for my life. And I just decided I wouldn't even pass near there for years. So what you normally do is to, I don't want to say pretend, but you avoid the memory. You don't go in that location. If I go to New York, I go to Brooklyn, I stay far away from that place. If I go to Manhattan, I don't have to pass through. Canal Street and all those area there, Wall Street area there. So out of sight, out of mind. So this is one of the way you cope. It's called a coping mechanism. Is to avoid the memory, avoid the hurt and the pain, and pretend everything is good.
Okay, so I'm hearing you, but I also have that question while you were speaking that came into my mind. For that question is for you, Michael. So how can someone eventually go past the thing that caused them that kind of trauma? How can they work towards going past that? Because I know for him walking down to Canal Street on this, where that happened, it triggers a lot of his memories, and
Yeah.
maybe because him the trauma, he will have flashbacks. So what can he do, or what somebody can do to eventually get past that? Going past these places or things that cause the trauma.
Well, a lot of what I've heard was that they go directly to whatever's causing it. Like I would like to ask Dennis, why do you avoid that area? I mean, obviously I know why, but I mean, in order to get past the trauma, a lot of time they request or suggest, I should say, you go back to it. Because those feelings not going anywhere. They're gonna sit there. So instead of just confronting them head on, it's like you push them to the side.
Yes.
So that may help if you go back to that particular area. I mean, honestly, it may help.
This I understand, and this is true, and a lot of people, of course, including myself, we live a life. I don't want to say false, but you know what I'm saying? Because the hurt and the pain,
right?
Especially if you have kids in, and you don't want to go and break down or whatever it is, go back and get a flashback, and those things could set you off too.
True.
Right?
True.
So a lot of people just pack up and move, go to Florida, get out of there, wherever it is, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, as far as possible, get out of that, and they would never pass any place near there, or if they pass in, they don't watch.
True.
I know this is not the best approach. Maybe it's a coward approach.
No, don't say that.
People do things differently.
I would never classify it as that. No.
Huh?
I said I would never classify it as that. No, that's not a coward approach. No, that's what you called it. I said coping. You coping. You trying to just deal with it.
Yes.
So no, not cowardly at all.
It is tough.
Right.
And a lot of, I don't think they really had New York City really had opened up for all these thousands of people that work in that neighborhood, because our people come from Staten Island and also New Jersey, to give them the necessary help and support. God knows, you might see some of them on the subway, homeless, asking. You don't know what triggered them off.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Very true.
Head is the head game from the trauma.
This is true.
They might be asking you for 25 cents, on the subway. You don't know what in the past years ago. So
that's always interesting. Like the guy, because we have men and women too, but people I run into, I'm always interested in their backstory. How did you get here?
Yes.
Even if they 18, it's still, even though their path wasn't that long, I'm still always interested in how did what came on, man. I mean, it's always the backstory. So it's always interesting.
Okay. So what are you finding with the men when it comes to their coping with mental health? Is it harder to be able to counsel them, Michael?
Well, it all depends if they're trying to get the help that they know they need. If they're trying to get there, a lot of them come in there and they'll say they've been kidnapped. Why am I here? And that's because their family put them there because they really didn't know how to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of them have issues with their mom. For some odd reason, a lot of these guys have mother issues. Whether they didn't ever knew their mother, or they had a bad relationship, or whatever happened. They got different stories. They all come to the same thing. A lot of them have mother issues. So a lot with that leads to they have issues with women. Period. So that's what a lot of them. A lot of the men.
Wow.
A lot of them have mother issues. That's only the ones really that's aggressive. They they had mother issues. They always
Wow.
have
Okay.
problems.
So I have two questions for you. First, I'm gonna ask you this, and then we're gonna move into some of the things that I wanted to ask Dennis. Right?
Okay.
Have you what made you decide to go into counseling for mental health?
Well, it was kind of a situation where I was familiar with the background of it, because mental health. A lot of these guys, well, at least I've found out, maybe 7 out of 10 of the people that come to my particular hospital have uh, prison or jail time in their background.
Oh man.
Those are these mostly men?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And I worked 12 years in corrections, so I was really familiar with what I was seeing. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, when I started talking to them, they kind of was familiar that I kind of knew a decent part of what I was talking about. So we kind of relates well. you know
Okay.
yeah.
So now that takes to my next question. I know a lot of us, a lot of times, when you're gonna get, try to get people on a right start, you're gonna give them advice as to what they need to do to help them through their problems.
Mhm.
What are some of the advice you give them? I know we tell them, okay, um, find you counsel them. Do you ever relate or suggest that they change their diet when it comes to dealing with mental health?
Now, me in particular have not suggested what they were eating,
Mm-hmm.
although that makes a ton of sense. But
Mm-hmm.
I've given a few groups being there, and most of the time it was about who do they have to apologize to. And
Mm-hmm.
if it was themselves, if it was family members that they you know done something wrong to, because we have a lot of the homeless people, and even not homeless, but they a lot of them use drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So then you got to go to that backstory. What got you here. So it's a lot of time it's just apologizing either to themselves, or saying I'm sorry to the people they've hurt. you know
But does that, I know it's not easy to get over the mental issues that we have. It is a process.
oh, definitely, definitely.
It doesn't take not just one thing or one session.
Right.
But what I have come to learn, and I think Dennis is gonna agree with me on that, is that everything that we do revolves around the things that we eat.
Mhm.
And for us to be able to get to an optimal health, okay, we need to change the things that we use in our homes. We need to change the environment that is we surround people with. We need to change the company if the company is gonna cause us to,
Mhm.
take us back to that place. We can change that. Our diet has a lot to do with that. And I'll tell you why I said this, because one, I was working with this company, okay? And it took me back to when you said, when we talked about the environment and the things that will trigger you. I was working with this company, and this my manager was sexually harassing me.
Mm.
He was touching me,
Mhm.
pass and touch. And
Mhm.
I warned him a couple of times. I said, you need to stop that.
Mhm.
And he wouldn't.
Mhm.
And I eventually had to report him
Mhm.
to the superiors.
Mhm.
When I did mention it to the lady at the office,
Mhm.
she said, no, You can't do that. You're gonna lose my job. I said, it's either I lose my job or I'm gonna hurt you. And come to find out that he had been molesting every other lady that came
Oh,
into
absolutely.
into
Absolutely.
But
Oh, yeah.
I had the strength to take the stand
Yeah.
because I had been raped before.
Mm.
And I was not going to allow that to happen to me again. So I took the stand and I said, I am going to report him. When they arranged for us to have a meeting with the psychologist or whoever it was, when that man walked into the office, they said that man was there in my space where I was. We both were supposed to be here. I was supposed to get here first, and then he's supposed to get a second, and then he got that almost the same time with me while I was in session. The psychologist, the person who was the therapist said, Cindy, you could have seen your face. You could have seen the fear in you when that man walked into that office. And so I know that the environment that we find ourselves in, especially where we had the trauma, it has a lot to do with how we handle it. And I was able to get past it. It played on my mind for a while because I was, not blaming myself, but wondering why me? Why did he choose me? Why? You understand? But I knew he did it to other women. But you still ask yourself these questions. So eventually, I had to get myself in the right mind state for him to be able to work with that person. And although they moved him out of although they moved him out of our section and put him somewhere else, but it was still the same, as if walking past that office every time triggered something for me. You understand? And when it comes to the health aspect of it, you learn that people have to change the way that they eat for them to grow. And Dennis, I'm coming back to you. A lot of the way we behave, and I'm learning so much, it has to do with how we eat, what we expose to. Dennis.
Yes, and thank you for introducing that health aspect
Yeah,
in terms of what we eat, what we consume. This is very, very, very powerful. You heard it said many times before that it takes a village to raise a child, right? Good. But also, if the environment, and the environment means the water you drink, because if you are in Flint, Michigan, you're not in a good environment raising nobody because it's mercury and lead. You eat the fish, you get mercury, you drink the water, you get lead. And also, you heard me saying it before, your health is your wealth. That's the first thing that you should protect is your physical well-being, your health. Because if you are not healthy, you're not going to become wealthy, right? So the environmental factors, the air we breathe, you have smog or smoke or whatever pollutants coming in from the factories or whatever it is you inhale and all of that. Those things gonna get inside of you. The particulates, the little metal flakes called metallics and all of that. Whatever it is, I don't know. If you're in West Virginia near the coal plant, you're gonna have black lung because all they do is burn, So those things will get inside of you. The water, exactly, if they dump stuff inside of it and you use that for drinking, you might have to use bottled water. So your health is critical, right? As I normally say, know thyself. Know thyself. You wake up in the morning, go in front of the mirror. Know thyself. Watch your skin tone. You see something bust out on your face? What's that? Know thyself. You didn't sleep good last night. Maybe when you go to the toilet, you're constipated. Know thyself. That's not what you thought. Did you drink enough water? Did you have, proper, you move your bowels and all of that stuff? Check your urine. All right. Is it colorless or is it red? You know, whatever it is, you eat too much salt and all of that food that you shouldn't be eating, the fast food. Okay, know thyself. This is the first commandment that man that we should follow is know thyself, right?
Yeah.
Anything that strays from the normal, you know, that was not you last month or last year or last week or whatever it is. What is happening? Know thyself. You
And
don't
our
feel
and
right.
our environment is plagued with so much toxins.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah.
much toxins. And once you are not in optimal health, you are not able to focus. And I think it comes into play even with our mental state. If you're hungry, you gotta focus. Okay? I know for me, when I was at a point where my mental health was not, I wouldn't say it's the best right now, but it
Mhm.
was not where it was. It was at a very all-time low.
Mm.
I would either do two things: don't eat for days or eat too much.
Oh.
Yes.
And
Oh.
I
Yes.
would want to eat all the wrong things,
Yeah.
all
Yes.
the wrong things, the junk. You understand? But what is that doing to, I'm saying that to say, what is that doing to our insights? And who said it? I don't remember, but it said your gut health, it contributes to your overall health, your focus on everything. And if we cannot
Yes.
focus properly, and if we don't have the capacity, you understand, to eat the right things, then we are not gonna even that it even affects our mental health. That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. It affects, I'm trying to tie these two things together. It affects our mental health. And that's why I asked you the question when I ask you, have you ever in your counseling, has it ever been suggested that that the clients or have a good diet, change your diet and have a good eating routine or something like that?
Yeah. Like I said, I never have intro that. I will now because that makes all the sense in the world.
Well,
But and to think about it, a majority meaning I would say 8 out of 10 of the patients that come in there are overweight. They're not in good health. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
look at me. I tell them I'm 53, and their eyes get this big. You lying? You kidding? And I'll be like maybe 20 years older than they are, but they
Mm-hmm.
look 20, 40 years, older, than they are. They'll be like 27, but they look 67. I mean, they're just really they're out of shape. So that makes all the sense in the world, honestly.
I'll
So
I'll I'll piggyback on what
Hold
you're
on,
saying.
before you piggyback, hold that thought. Don't let it go anywhere. Let me say hello to our guests. We gotta give some love to our viewers, because without them, it wouldn't mean anything. Okay, we'll just be looking at ourselves and
Yeah.
talking. Okay, now so let me say hello. Who we have here? Sugar, yeah, you still here, honey? Valerie Lubin. We have Natural Vibes Essential. What's up, cuz? And we have Shatina Misha. Yes. She said, "Hey everyone." So we also have. Let me see. Yeah, we also have Vanessa Frederick is watching. So yeah, good night to everyone who's watching. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Mr. Dennis Charles, and we also have Mr. Michael White. Listen, you're gonna be seeing a lot of Dennis because, and we may even be seeing a lot of Michael, because we want to bring people on the show to talk about the mental health. Tonight we're talking about mainly men's health with mental illness. I know I ask abroad, but it's mostly we want to target the men. You understand what is affecting them and what can they do to better their health if they're dealing with mental illness. What are some of the changes that they can make? And that's why we brought in Dennis, because Dennis has he's versed in a lot of things. Okay, he's not just he's versed in a lot of things that can help, and
oh yeah,
because of his struggles with mental illness and some of the steps that he has taken, it has helped alleviate a lot of the problems that he's been facing. If I'm wrong, Dennis, correct me.
I think you're right.
all right.
And so we also have Michael here, who's a mental health counselor, who's gonna giving us a backdrop of what he does and how what are some of the things that he sees in his line of work, and how he's been able to help people with mental illness. I want to ask you, yeah, go ahead, Dennis, and then I'm gonna ask you a question, Michael. Okay.
All right, good. So I wanted to remind our audience that the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, he said that, well, of course, all disease begins in the gut. That tells you the importance of what we eat. Everything. They also say, make food thy medicine, or else medicine shall become thy food. Make natural food that God made thy medicine. Eat right, or else prescription drugs from CVS and Rite Aid and those places.
Hey, we're not down in them, we just tell it.
Yeah.
Them.
I'm going to tell you, medicine, you're going to be on pills for the rest of your life. You have to make a concerted effort to do right by you, by your health, right? You eat the right things. Number one, our system, the environment we live in is not good. The lifestyle we live is too fast. We have to hustle in the morning to go to work. We run and we get a latte. We rush to work, we walk, we run, we grab food that's not good, we eat. On the way home, we might end up by Kentucky or McDonald's or JJ Fish Fry. They fry the fish with lard. We eat too much salt. We consume too much sugar, right? A whole lot of saturated fat with the lard they fry. Even the donuts. People don't know they make donuts with oil.
And that's funny though, because some of the things that we buy from these big franchises, some of these, I would say, the people who own these franchises, they don't eat that stuff.
They don't eat that.
They don't eat that stuff. They would
sell
tell
it
you,
to
I will
us.
not put this in my body.
Yes. They sell it, they sell those things to us. So we have to do what you call, we encourage women to do occasionally a checkup, right? You look for lumps in your breast, you look for different things before they develop at a point where probably it's too late, right? So you have to be proactive. Same thing with men, prostate. A lot of men don't like to do that. Once you cross 40, you should be looking, But what about pre-diabetes? Diabetes is a dangerous thing because I think diabetes is worse. You know why? It leads to so many other stuff, including blindness and down the road amputation. You get a wound, it will not heal at all. You're going to lose a leg. They're going to cut out one. So, but people, they just consuming this sweet, this soda, and they don't think that tomorrow there is a price to be paid.
But here's the thing, the people who are making this, I know everybody has to make money to live somehow, but a lot of the health professionals will tell you, okay? The people who are truly trying to make a difference in other people's lives, they'll tell you these things are addictive.
Yes.
With the things that they make them, they are addictive. And these are the things that contribute to us, doing so many things that our health are failing.
That is correct. So we have to be a little bit more proactive, right? Remember the center of our universe, your gut, that here, most important. Two things that you must take good care of because you're going to pay the price later on. Your kidney and your liver.
Okay.
Kidney failure is not a good thing.
Right.
Dialysis. I have a cousin. I don't even want to talk about that. You don't want to see he like a stick right now. He had diabetes real bad. He wasn't eating properly. He wasn't exercising. He wasn't doing anything, drinking enough water and all of that. So now we have to think in terms of your gut biome. Because inside your gut, if you're eating all these junk things, you have years of poop that's stuck in some corners that wouldn't get out. It's going to stay there, become toxic, and you get what is called leaky gut. So you have to flush out, cleanse, and purge that thing out. right? B, you have to put in the good bacteria, feed the good bacteria, because you have a whole lot of stuff inside of you. You have the mucus, because COVID kill people. Is basically the mucus. You couldn't get oxygen. They call it pneumonia. Pneumonia basically is mucus in your lung, and you can't get oxygen. You die. It's mucus.
Right.
So in your gut, with all of that stuff, the bad bacteria love to multiply and make children inside of there.
And it was amazing. I saw this on I think I was telling Dennis that I saw this on this doctor, this well-known doctor. It came on as an ad, and he was showing detail how these things destroy your gut.
Yes.
He said it's almost like if you have, like we have our toilet and we keep flushing our toilet with nails, like nails in the wall. If you keep flushing it once in a while, it may not affect you. But if you'll be every time you flush it, all kinds of nails. Every day you flushing nails down that thing. Eventually, it will poke into that steel pipe. Okay.
Leaky gut. Yes.
And then your gut is going to leak. And I'm going like,
yes.
it was scary.
That's how the toxins get into your body. That's how
And
the toxins get in.
he explained, Dennis, he explained that this is the cause of a lot of our problems in our body. We cannot function properly. We get sick easily. Things affect us even worse than if our health is not at its optimal, And when I think of the years so many of us have had not knowing these things and not taking care of ourselves. Listen, I was listening to this lady and she said, let me see if I can find it. And she said that men die at a higher rate than women, at an earlier age than women.
At an earlier age, yes.
Right.
And I'm going like, we already have man shortage in the world. Why we
we check out 4 to 5 years before.
why were you losing our men? Let me tell you about, let me read something to you guys. Okay, it says through 63% of men, a survey found that 63% of men of color report not getting regular health screenings. 63% is a lot of percent.
Yeah.
Why is it that, okay, I'm gonna ask a question, why is it that it is so difficult for men? And I'm gonna ask both of you all. I'm gonna ask you all individually. Why is it so difficult for men to admit that there's something wrong?
I don't know. Maybe it's ego. A man is supposed to be like macho.
Macho.
Supernatural kind of thing. Never get sick and all that. But it's just it's fake. It's So for some reason, and then in our culture too, we don't want to go to the doctor. We don't admit we get sick. We hide it from our wife. We don't want our children to know we have this or we have that. You would have folks have diabetes and they wouldn't tell anybody, and they still would go and eat and drink the same thing they're not supposed to be doing because they don't want this person to know. It's terrible. And then later on, you're going to need a kidney or you're going to need some dialysis.
And it is sad because our kidneys and our liver flushes out things out of our system.
That is what takes out all the poison, all the toxin, right?
And
make the enzymes. Your kidney and your liver, they are the ones that keep you alive, pretty much. The heart just pump blood. That's
Sugar,
all.
this is what Sugar said. Sugar said the men they don't want to bother anyone.
Right. And that's how we, just like Dennis was saying, ego, we okay, but yeah, we don't want to like be a burden. We don't want to bug nobody. Even though they'll do anything for us, but we feel like we don't want to be a bother. So no, I'm okay. I'm all right.
Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you this. I'm speaking to your men. Okay.
Okay.
We need your number one. We need your okay. Number two. The longer you stay with illness is not just a one-day thing. Diseases are not a one day thing. You get it today. It is a process. It takes time for things to mature, to develop, to fix itself inside of there.
Mhm.
And the longer you take for you to admit, I'm speaking out to the men now.
Yep.
I'm a woman. Me, they always say women like to talk. We like to talk sometimes because we don't want to die. I don't want to die. Listen, I said, if I'm diagnosed with a critically ill disease. Some people say, don't tell nobody. I'm telling everybody. Because I want you to celebrate me, do everything that you can to help me. I'm checking out everything on my bucket list, okay? A lot of people don't get a chance to do that. The men, we need you all. So please speak up. I'm not saying that you all have to tell everybody your business, but you must have a trusted person who will be able to be that person you can confide in and say, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. I don't want to tell, even if you don't want to tell your wife, although your wife's supposed to be your best friend, even though you tell your wife, but you can say, okay, man, can you go to the doctor with me? Let's see what's happening, you know? And it is sad that we've gotten to the point where people don't think that they can, especially guys, you all need to open up. When it comes sickness, I don't believe when somebody's sick, they're supposed to hide it. Because if you can tell somebody else can say, okay, I know this person who had this and they did this, they may be able to help you.
True.
You understand? And
Yeah.
so you can hide these things from you. You cannot tell the whole world, but somebody will be able to suggest something that's going to be able to help you.
That's true.
And I tell you one of the reasons why Dennis and I have known. Let me tell you, there's something in Grenada called the oil down. Okay, it's the best oil down. Listen, people, if you haven't tested Grenada, Dennis's oil down. I give you the now. When Dennis, contact Dennis. Okay.
That's our national dish.
Yes, that's Grenada's national dish. And let me tell you, Dennis and I, we reconnected after this, and then he introduced me to something. Okay. And if you want to know what it is afterwards, you can contact either of us, okay? Or contact me, I'll contact Dennis. But let me tell you. Or if Dennis wants, he can tell you on, okay? But he introduced me to this thing, okay? At first I'm like, oh, I don't know. But then I'm being honest, I have issues. Have issues. Listen, when I took this thing, I called him. Okay.
Yeah. And I tell him, make your video.
Now, everybody know me, I'm a hot mess. Okay. I don't care. I'm gonna be me. I said, Dennis. He said, yes. I said, Dennis. I said, Dennis. Man, it's been like 3 days, 2 or 3 days I've started taking this thing, and I can feel.
Oh.
I can feel it.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, along with the vitamins that I'm taking, I could feel the difference.
Oh, that's great.
Because it is cleaning out the things. I'm telling you, I have to. Okay, I don't need to take it today because maybe I'll have to go to the bathroom. But our gut, it helped me appreciate that our gut health, our gut health, and our overall health,
right?
It is important for us to be able to function at any capacity. And once when this up here can function, we can do amazing things. And I don't believe there's nothing that we cannot do. Want to put our mind to it, you know. True. And I wanted to ask you, Michael, what are some of the challenges? Did you ever suffer of mental illness or mental health or any health concern that you had? And what are some of the ways that you dealt with it?
Well, as far as a mental situation, I attempted suicide when I was 17. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. 15. I was 15. And that was because I was living, I was in Tennessee and my mother was in Chicago. And she came and just got me out of school and, wanted me to come back up to Chicago. You know, even though I had my whole life down there and was, you know, having the time of my life, and she brought me to Chicago, I didn't want to stay.
She didn't give you time to process the move.
Nothing. So I came up here. They put me in school and everything. I told her I didn't want to stay here, and she wasn't trying to hear anything I said. And I just, you know, just done the dummy move and tried to take some pills.
And here's the situation with that.
Mhm.
We as parents, we have to understand, we have to be patient with our children.
Right.
We have to understand what is going to trigger them to do certain things.
Right. Right.
I remember when we were struggling really bad, and I told him that I was pregnant with my daughter who passed away.
Mm.
And that child got so depressed. Not for the fact that he did not want a sister, not for the fact that he hated me, but for the fact he was trying to process, how can I help my mother? She's already in a situation to find herself in a situation. How can I help her?
Mm.
And that child go through a moment of depression. And I had to learn to meet him where he was, and we work at it together. Work at it. So we have to be patient with our children in that regard. Give them time to process things.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that child, he literally cried so much and he said, Mom, how are we going to survive this?
Mm.
So that move, I spoke to somebody today and I was telling that person that same advice. We have to, sometimes the children are just trying to cope with certain things. And these are the things that bring about mental illness and bring children to the point where I cannot deal with this because they're not supposed to do too many things at one time. And they end up trying to take their lives. We have to be mindful of how we deal with things with our children, the decisions that we make, how it's going to affect them. I have my 14-year-old and he is autistic, and I cannot just get up and move with him. I can't. That's gonna be a fight, a war in my house. It's going.
Yeah. You already know.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Well, my what you said is you know very good, Cindy. I want to say that society has progressed to the point where the family tree, the family structure is not as important as it used to be before. Everything is fast paced now. I mean, you take your kids to the restaurant, the first thing they do, pull out the phone and they start texting their friends in front of you. Nobody talk to each other anymore, right?
Right.
Like back in the islands on moonlight nights, everybody outside in the yard telling stories, cracking jokes, and you had the community, the neighborhood children would come over and play in front of your house, right? After school in the evening, you go and fly kite if it's windy outside. You don't have those kinds of those kinds of stuff happening nowadays. Every man for himself. Everyone has their own phone or their Wii or Nintendo or whatever it is they're doing nowadays. And it's like even within the same household with boys and brothers and sisters, this one lock a door, this one lock his, and
Yeah.
so you have complete breakdown in communication.
True.
So even within the same household, husband and wife, this is terrible. This is terrible, right? And the kids, yeah, your kids, you barely see them. They come and eat, then they go back upstairs. And so we don't have the kind of touch and feel we had before. You hug, you talk, you go someplace, everybody. No, they go with you, they're on the phone with their friends. They don't talk to you, you don't talk to them. This is not good.
Right.
This is not good. So we have lost the kind of bonding.
Yes.
We don't bond anymore. And also by bonding and talking, you share your experiences, you learn from them. Well, how was your school today? What happened? You know, nobody talking to nobody.
Right.
Everybody on the phone with the fingers. They talk with their
Mhm.
fingers. They mouth shut. You know, so you don't know how
I've
they
seen that.
felt. You know,
Mhm.
and so that kind of emotional bonding. And I
Mhm.
wanted to say that in terms of health, you have three aspects. You have your physical well-being, you have your emotional well-being, because we have mental health issues,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Emotionally, I mean, you might look young and strong, you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have this, you don't have that, but up in the head, you're not there, you're loco, right? Sorry to say that. And then what about your financial health?
Mhm.
Mhm.
In this country, we have over 500,000 bankruptcies every year. Over 500,000 bankruptcies, and about 62 to 63% are related to healthcare costs or medical bills you can't pay.
Right.
So you make sure you file bankruptcy first. You understand? And a lot of the breakup in families, divorce and all of that, is because of financial issues.
Mhm.
I mean, the wife got to do her nails. She got to look nice. She need that ring. She need that the hair though. The hair
I
has
don't
to
have
look nice.
husband. I can still do my nails, huh?
Oh yeah, you need that nice hairdo or that nice Gucci bag or something, that Louis Vuitton. You know, that she got to
Uh-huh.
look nice.
Right.
She want that ride. If the husband can provide those kind of stuff, well, sorry for him. She gone. This is the society we live in. I mean, whether you like it or not. So finances or the lack thereof,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they play a big role in the breakup. And then the society is so fast paced nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
and the minimum wage should be around $15 an hour instead of $7.50.
Mhm.
People are falling behind instead of getting ahead.
Right.
Yeah. So let me say this. Good night. Let me say good night to. Let me see. Good night, Cynthia Fontenelle. She said good night to everyone.
Oh, good night, saying, yeah. So
Cyn-
your finances are very important if you want to
So
have
I,
good health.
based on what you tell me, and then is this based on what you're saying is this, okay? We sick, we worry, okay? We don't have money, we
Yes,
worry.
yes,
We going through emotional problems, we get a breakup, we lose our home, we worry.
yes,
Everything goes up right up there.
yes. And we shorten our lifespan
Mhm.
by all these problems we take on and all of that. So when we talk about our health, I know this is June, and just now we're going to talk about liberation, total, complete emancipation, not just we're not in chains, we're not slaves anymore, you know, but
Mm,
the complete total package of
mm,
emancipation that includes financial
mhm.
liberation too,
Mhm.
because we are only free as a people when we become financially free. You cannot be free and broke.
True.
Somebody gonna own you. They're gonna give you a
Uh-huh.
minimum wage job and pay you what they feel like.
Mhm.
It is
You know,
sad though because it is so difficult the way the system is set up. It is sad. It is so hard for people to just get ahead.
you're not
Yeah.
getting ahead.
You're not.
Look at the debt ceiling. They're making sure they go back and cut back the little help with student loan.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You could declare bankruptcy on anything.
Mhm.
Donald Trump filed bankruptcy about 7 times. He still became
Oh yeah.
about times.
Mhm.
Still became president. But
Yep.
a college child, let's say you take a little loan from a poor family, you're trying to get a little education and you can't make it, you fall on hard time. You must pay it back. You cannot file
And they
bankruptcy on
and
this.
they hold it over
Mm.
your head until you pay.
Mm.
Yes. And they mess up your credit.
So this
Right.
is where all the mental stress and everything
A
comes in.
lot of stress.
Mm.
You can't pay. You're trying to get a job where you live. The job is far. You got to get a car. They hit you with a car note. They say, well, you have black people credit. So they
Mhm.
give you a high interest rate to pay. So you have to pay. You have to buy gas. You have to pay insurance. By the time you pay rent, you don't know how much. You're
Mm.
stressed. So
True.
mental health could manifest itself in many different ways, right?
Mhm.
And some of the cause, or if you want to say triggers, right? The triggers, that is what you have to look for.
Mm.
So come up with a plan. When I say know thyself, let me just say, when I prepared something some things to tell the audience listening to me. Know thyself. Not only looking in the mirror and doing a checkup on the outside, but emotionally, if you need help, seek help. Go to counseling, get help before it gets too late. But what about your finances? Know thyself. Are you prepared for retirement? Do you project at 60 years where you're going to be, or 65 if you want to retire at 65, where you're going to be? You might be retiring broke. And it's too late to go back and hustle. You're not 18 years anymore. You might be retiring broke. Have you projected? Look ahead, plan ahead. And if I ask you, what is your MMN, your monthly maintenance number? That is the first thing you should know on the financial side. We talk about the health already. On the financial side, what is the monthly maintenance number? Everybody's number is different. The money you need to put aside to pay your bills every month, to maintain you, your maintenance number, your light, your cell phone bill, your car note. You have to pay insurance as the police is going to pull you over. What about your mortgage, right? Or if you're renting, you have rent. You have child support, or you're paying all the money, or whatever it is. Put down all your expenses on a piece of paper, right? Those expenses you pay every month to stay alive. Food, groceries at Walmart, right? All your expenses. That's your monthly maintenance number to stay alive every month. Now, juxtapose that against your income, your gross income. So your expenses are here. You add it up, but you're only bringing in that here. So you have to subtract. Well, oh my God, I have so my all of the expenses plus tithes. You have to pay the pastor. Tithes. Tithes are not right. Because the pastor did something. You have to pay for that Bentley.
It's the way you said it. You got to pay the pastor.
Right. Oh yeah, you got to do it.
You don't drive Hyundai. You ever see a pastor drive a Hyundai? He drive a Benz. Right? Yeah. So the pastor had to get paid too. So put that 10% for the pastor. So when you finish and you look at what you're making, what you're bringing in, that's your cash inflow. But over here is your cash outflow, what you're paying out.
And you're paying more than you bringing in.
So we end up living on credit card because you don't have enough. You have about 6 credit cards in your pocket. You have to put that money on plastic because you're not there. You can't balance. That's what they call balancing your budget, right? The average credit card rate in this country is 22%. So that is why Black people, I'm telling you guys, you cannot be free unless you are financially free. You need financial empowerment. You need to understand how money works. You need to understand it. Right? I'm a professional financial consultant, but I'm giving you free advice, right? And also on the health side too, right? This is very, very important because you're just spinning a top in mud. You're going to get old and you're going to retire without enough money. Yes, go ahead.
To me, it is sad how everything goes back to each other. Everything goes back to each other in a circle. Because if you don't have all of these things in place, it causes you stress. And as I was, as Michael was saying, a lot of times, and I'm sorry to say men, I'm going to tell it again, it will have to take a family member to get you to admit that there is a problem and get help. Like Michael said, it's a family member that will take them into to get consultation.
Oh, yeah.
Because you cannot wrap around your head around, I've been working so hard so many years to try to pay that student loan. I can't get a decent job. I can't feed my family. Then the stress kicks in. And then all the hopes and dreams that you had for yourself is going out the window because then your mental capacity is becoming,
Yeah, you
like
messed up.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're underwater.
So,
You
Michael,
know?
Hmm.
I
Yep.
know you've seen a lot in you counseling people. What are some of the challenges? I know you said you had mental challenges. You tried to take your own life. Okay, at 15
Mhm.
because of your situation. What other health challenges that you've had? Okay, besides mental health, and how have you been able to cope with that? How did you handle it?
Well, as far as physical, I mean, I just had like a ACL. I didn't have anything as far as pneumonia or anything like that.
Mm-hmm,
But I recently just had shoulder surgery that I'm
mm-hmm,
still rehabbing now, and we
mm-hmm.
just don't heal up like we used to,
When you
way
were
back.
25.
Right.
Mhm.
Just don't heal up. We don't heal up like that
Yeah.
anymore. No, it's taken a while. So, but
Yes.
other than that, I've been pretty good. I mean, I exercise, and I used to weigh 240,
Mm-hmm,
but I weigh 223, and I feel much better. So
mm-hmm,
we talking. This goes back to the food, issue.
mm-hmm.
As far
Yeah.
watching what you eat and everything like that is, and it does help. I
Yes.
feel much better.
I can tell you this much based on what I see, that gut health
Yeah.
is everything.
Mhm.
And we can do ourselves a world of good just by changing a few things in our diet.
Amen.
Just a few
Amen.
things. It don't
Mhm.
have to be a lot, just a few things.
Yeah.
You know, Cindy, I said on the last program that when God made man, there was no CVS drugstore in the Garden of Eden.
Mm-hmm.
He had the plants there for the healing of the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And coming from the islands, everything grows over there. We have everything just right behind the house. Everything.
But hold on, Denise. I don't want me to cut you short, but I'm understanding now that a lot of people in the islands are becoming, they're forgetting their roots, they're forgetting all those good plants and
Well, they
stuff.
watch TV. They watch TV and they want McDonald's. They want Kentucky. So people bringing on Kentucky Fried. I mean, look, there. We have these superfoods with the phytonutrients, right? We have all the best of it, like the noni.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a mirror, a wonder plant in terms of the health benefits
Mm-hmm.
for the human body, right? Okay. Things that really make you live longer and healthier and produce good enzymes and all of that. Beta carotene, they fight free radicals. For instance, blueberries,
Mm-hmm.
strawberries. We have cinnamon. We call it spice. It smells nice, right? Okay. I mentioned noni. Okay. What about soursop? It is 1,000 times more potent in terms of fighting cancer than chemotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
We have all of that growing wild
Yes.
in
Have you
Grenada.
ever been to the Caribbean, Michael?
No, I have not. No, I haven't.
Man, you gotta take a trip,
Go,
okay?
I am.
go.
It's on my bucket list. It's on my
Yes,
bucket list.
yes.
You know?
Visit St. Lucia first. Don't go to Grenada first, huh? Visit
Go
that island.
to Grenada. You don't want to come back. Right?
Okay.
So we have all of the natural stuff, which they call superfood. So I'll tell you what Cindy talked about, the cleansing and all of that. I had introduced her to something which I wouldn't talk about. She is going to tell you guys, because I have 3 bottles here and I ain't giving nobody. I gave one person one and the rest I ain't giving them. I'll for myself, because I'll tell you something. As we mentioned, inside that gut here, a mile of bad bacteria, yeast,
Mm.
fungus, acid,
Mm.
right? Mix up with that poop
Mm-hmm.
and all the garbage we eat.
He said it so freely. Poop.
The processed food and all of that rotting inside of there, especially if you eat meat. meat decompose and decay inside of you,
Mhm.
right? So that's why you had to flush them and get them out quick, real fast,
Gotcha.
because
And
then they produce bad enzymes that the body absorb. You will be sick.
And listen to that, Dennis. Here's the thing. I was thinking when I was listening to this doctor, if after eating all of those toxins and filling ourselves with all of those toxins, right?
Mhm.
And our liver and our kidneys are damaged, it cannot flush out these things out of our
They
system.
get tired. They overworked.
It's not flushing it out, so we just stuck up there.
Mhm.
Oh Lord,
They're tired. I mean, come on. I mean, this is
Michael, I
what.
hope we're not busting you out.
No. Hey, this is real life right here. No.
No, this is good. So this is how your kidney just say, you know what, enough is enough.
Mhm.
Then the doctor, you go to whichever hospital, whatever, you end up on dialysis. A lot of us, we get diabetes.
Mhm.
We like too much of junk, sugar, soda, all this thing, Coca-Cola, a mile of sugar in it, you know, and the processed food. If you watch how they make burgers and all of that, you will not eat burger again in your life. And corn beef, things like that.
What did I hit a nerve, Mike?
No, I heard of documentaries of
No, you should watch how they make it. Or you will not eat it
right.
anymore. You are a function of what you consume, what you put inside. You know, let me tell you something. When COVID came, COVID-19, right? In the early days, boy, oh, well, black people don't eat right. They they give us all kind of excuse. Black people are falling like crazy, right? Yes, we got hit hard in the beginning. It is only after, well, it's not only us it killing, then they start to really pay attention. You remember when they had a whole lot of trucks in Brooklyn with dead bodies in the hot sun, smelling and all of that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it did not wipe out all the black people here.
Mhm.
It's not, they start dying too.
Mhm.
Okay. So we have to make an effort to eat differently,
Mhm.
to eat right.
Mhm.
Because we know another pandemic will come. It's just a matter of when. We cannot go back making the same mistakes again.
And if we
You know?
nourish our bodies with the things that it needs now, it will be
Right
much
now,
easier for us to fight
to
whatever comes.
fortify ourselves, to
Yes.
fight whatever comes. So
Mhm.
cleanse out the bad, feed the good bacteria,
Mhm.
those that help us,
Mhm.
to have a better life, a healthier life,
Right.
and then all the things that we need, the colors of life, from the green leafy vegetables like the kale and all of that, come up from green to yellow to red to purple, like beets and
Yeah.
and blueberries,
Mhm.
celery, green is very good for you.
Mhm.
Okay. Apricots, watermelon, and here what? Most of those things, they are alkaline.
Mhm.
Germs, bacteria and stuff, they don't like alkaline solution.
Mhm.
They like mucus and they like acidity, acid.
And also, Dennis, I don't mean to cut you short. I know you're gonna continue because your brain is not like mine. You remember everything, but but let me tell you guys. Along with that, I wanted to say a lot of people don't understand and they don't believe it that our the soil that is growing the foods, they are so depleted in the nutrients that we need. You understand? So we have to back up with the necessary. You find that people buying a lot of canned foods. You find that people are some of the things that are grown, they are fed with different fertilizers.
Mhm.
We have to try to eat things that are naturally grown. And
Yeah.
it's hard too because the soil is so depleted that the nutrients we try to get from the soil we don't get it. So we have to back it up with, oh my gosh, with vitamins. The vitamins
Mhm.
that we need in our body, to keep us going. And again,
Mhm.
the vitamins on the most of the vitamins on the market, they're not good.
No, it's just a money making stuff.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that. what folks have to realize, right, is that most of the products you buy in the supermarket, they add preservative to extend
Yes.
shelf life
Yes.
so they don't rot or spoil quick.
And one
Now,
of the things
when you bring
one
them
of the
home,
things they add is how they calling it, Lord have mercy. Well,
you can see
formaldehyde.
additives or whatever.
Formaldehyde, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You consume that inside of you. The same thing I'm saying, those things they have to be flushed out. But
Mm-hmm.
besides that, when they grow them in the field, pesticides, they don't want bugs eat them before they harvest them. So they spray them with pesticides and herbicides. And like nowadays you buy chicken, everybody into barbecue chicken. I know summer coming in and all of that, right? The chicken is 2 months old, 10 pounds. Steroids.
Yes.
So you have herbicides, you have pesticides, you have steroids. What more do you ask? We could never be healthy. Hence the reason I say your health is your wealth. Hence the reason you have to be more proactive about what you eat, source what you eat, make sure they're not contaminated and polluted with all this garbage. For instance, the product that Cindy talked about, no GMOs in it. Nothing is genetically altered and manipulated by man, right? You have watermelon nowadays without seed. When God made watermelon, they had seed.
I
Don't eat
didn't
anything
listen.
without seed.
I did not know that. I was like, so I
Yeah.
went to the farmers market with a friend that was on Monday or Sunday. I don't remember what it was. And she said, I'm looking for the watermelon that doesn't have seed. I'm gonna, which watermelon doesn't have seed? How you mean the
Yeah,
watermelon
seedless.
doesn't have seed?
Seedless. Everything is altered. Everything is genetic, So the natural stuff, the way it used to be back then. So all of that getting inside of us and is making us a different kind of human being, if I could put it that way. This is serious stuff now. This is going deep. All right. I don't know if you want to go quite there. This is
No,
going
we're
deep.
not gonna go too deep because we want to live
No, we're not going to go too deep. So the last thing I'm going to say is you have to let your audience know, A, the world we live in right now, the food you eat when you go to the grocery, put down pesticides, you're going to get that. Herbicides, you go and you're buying meat to eat. Well, of course, they grow fast because they want them to get heavy. Steroids, and all the other things that are not good for us. We consume too much salt, too much sugar. You have a history of diabetes in your family, or maybe you concern your family tree, kidney failure, cirrhosis of the liver, all those things. You're worried about your head. What about hypertension, high blood pressure?
Not only
Cancer.
that, Dennis. Not only that, Dennis. Sometimes we often talk about eating healthy and eating the good stuff and feeding our bodies with the good stuff. What about the products that we use at our homes that have toxins and pesticides and herbicides, and
Oh,
we
yes.
inhale these things every day?
Every day. Yeah, you're right.
Do we have you thinking, Michael?
Yeah, a little.
He's like, wow, what am I getting into? Cindy, you should let them look at your website.
Yes. So, guys,
Put up your website.
I am going to put up my website for you guys. Listen, I have been, and it's sad to say, but I have to be the first to admit it. I have been into health and wellness for the past 16 years. 16. But because of my mental illness, I had allowed myself to just, go. When you're not mentally sound, you don't think right. You understand? And so I have allowed myself to go on all the things that I had learned before about health and everything, because I was an athlete. I consider myself still an athlete, okay? I still because I still run the same way. I still do, certain things. But anyway, but I let myself go because of because of hardships, because of so many different circumstances. You understand? I can give a piece of advice to you guys. no matter what is happening in your life,
Mhm.
the minute you start to see yourself going in a backwards, taking a backward step, seek help. Because one thing can destroy the good thing that you have been setting for you for all these years.
Mhm.
One wrong step. One thing can deter you from your goals and your dreams of what you want for yourself. I allowed the situations that I was going through to take me away from that healthy habits that I was forming, and I put on a lot of weight, and then I got pregnant with my daughter. My daughter was sick and I put on more weight. Okay. And that story is gonna be told in my book coming out soon. And so I am I'm right now, I know we've gone over our time, but I am in a fight to regain my health. I'm in a fight to regain my life, to add a little bit more years to my life. Okay.
All right.
Amen.
Yes. And so, guys, I am going to put on the screen for you guys what I am doing. A good night to Jamila Silis. I don't know if she's still there. I am into health all the way, and I have different avenues where I use. But one of the new things that I started with, and I would encourage if you guys to go and check my website. I'm going to put it on the front. I can't remember everything, but I'm going to type it for you guys. But we really need to take control of our health. We really need to take control of, because we need to take control of the things that can deter us from having a good life, from deterring us from functioning in the way that we're supposed to, and to be the best we can be for ourselves and for our families. Because what we bring into this world, they are depending on us. They are
Yep.
depending on us to help them to learn, to grow, to guide them. And if we are not there to do that, then what is the purpose? You understand? So I remember my son told me a couple of months ago, I was telling him about my health concerns, and he said, Mom, I need you. And my son is 27 years old.
Mhm.
He said, Mom, I need you to be better. I need you. And I am to a point where they can turn off my phone. They can turn off everything else. But I'm going to get the best kind of care that I need, and the right kind of care for my health, so that I could live to see my youngest graduate, to see my grandbabies, and to see my grandbabies have grandbabies. Okay. And so I'm going to say to you, my website, and I'm going to put it on there, is yourhealthmatters.lovebiome.com. Again, yourhealthmatters.lovebiome.com. Okay, and I'm going to put it on the screen so you could go and check my website out to see what we are talking about that has flushed me out and make me feel like a new woman. So, Michael, listen, I know, Dennis, we're going to be back here in the next 2 weeks. Okay. But
Yes.
I want to say thank you so much, Michael, for being on here on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know we kept you up. We were not supposed to speak. The conversation got so interesting. It was
Right.
amazing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Michael, I guess we're gonna see again sometime.
Absolutely.
And it's been a pleasure. I know we put out a lot of information here, so you can
Yes, you
also,
did. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, all the best.
Have
All
a
right,
good night,
Cindy,
and
all the best. Have a
Michael,
good night.
I
All
let
right.
you give my number so we can be in touch. Okay. For my
Okay.
risers and prosperity builders, I always tell you at the end of this show, you can fail many times before you succeed, but never ever allow failure to be your finality. Okay.
Nope.
As long as you have breath in you, you can rise and you can start over. You
Okay.
can be the person that you want to be. Until next time, thank you, Dennis, for being here. And Michael, it was a pleasure to meet you for the first time. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Please call me afterwards, okay, or tomorrow. We'll talk, okay?
All right.
Tomorrow.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night. Bye.
All
Good
right,
night.
good night.
All
All
right.
right, thank you. Yeah.
Mhm.